Hello, Irina. Nice to meet you again here at the Credit Matters conference. Can you please introduce yourself in some words about you, about your profession, about your position and your industry?
Sure. Hi, Nicolette. So it's very nice to see you again on this conference. Actually, first time we met also during the conference, I think 4 years ago. So, and since then we keep in touch, and I'm very happy about that. So, a few words about me. So I work for IFF, International Flavors and Fragrances. So my current role is Credit Project Manager. I'm focusing on transformation and improvement projects at IFF. So, for example, I was change lead and SME for S4HANA project. So a few years ago, and actually tomorrow I'm also presenting again this topic because a year or 2 years ago it was a big success. So people are really interested in this topic. So I'm back here again.
Nice to hear that. And what are the biggest challenges in your role in this year? And what are the biggest objectives that you would like to reach in this year?
Yeah, I think through the years, the biggest challenge was that always kind of directions were changing, whether it was change of management or economical, financial world situation. So sometimes we started the project, but then it was paused due to this outside external factors. So this year we again working on transformation projects, but I see that we have now very strong sponsorship from the leadership. So I believe that, finally, so our projects will have a value and we will complete them successfully. And also, so one of the projects, for example, we are choosing provider now for O2C, so mainly for collections, credit, or billing activities.
Okay. And what are the biggest challenge of credit in general nowadays? And what are the biggest possibilities that you see, for example, in AI or technology?
Yeah, I'm not so much in operations, but I know actually we are using S4HANA. And in this aspect, I see the feedback from the team that they actually like, because there is a level of automation in S4HANA for credit, because there is this documented cases which are open for each blocked orders, and there is audit trail, decision. So, and there is also connection with external agencies in S4HANA. So it's from operations perspective, it's we look good. Actually, there is a good level of automation. There is audit track, as I mentioned. Of course, the biggest challenge I'm sure many companies are facing, it's again the situation in the world. So crises, wars. So they need to adapt very fast and be proactive. So to check really news, what's happening in each country, and then timely take an action. So reduce limits, remove limits, or warn other departments about the happenings.
Okay, thank you very much. And what brought you this year to this conference? And what do you like most in these credit conferences in general?
Yeah, it's my third conference already. And since first I attended, I really, of course, not fall in love, but really I like these conferences due to its atmosphere, because people are very nice to each other and they're open for networking. And I made some connection, as for example, with you. You're a very good example, of my connection due to conference. Yeah, and of course, besides networking, so I'm learning all the time. So some topics are repeating, so maybe it's less interesting for me. But this year, for example, again, AI, it's something core topic, or e-invoicing. So there are new topics. And I think from each session, so I always have a few takeaways, and it's already worth to come for me.
Okay. And what was the most interesting topic this year for you, or the most interesting presenter. And what was the most interesting takeaway for you this year so far?
Yeah, it will be probably surprise, and for me it was surprising topic. So it was from Peter Kovac from BP on oil.
Yes.
So somehow for me it was highlight of today, because I think just everyone, especially, is afraid of kerosene leakages. It's summer coming, and then it was very interesting presentation because I was not so deep into the topic, and it was interesting statistics, very nice presentation, engaging. So I think it was the one presentation when I really focused all the time and didn't have even, a second or minute when I was thinking about something else.
Okay.
So it was highlight. And from other sessions, I think I liked each of one and picked up one topic. I liked also networking, for example, importance of networking in this task. And actually I also very liked from networking the idea that before you talk with a person, so don't share your position, because it's so much true. If other person will say that it's a general manager or something, then you will feel a little bit as imposter right here, and then you will think, so what we can talk about with such a high level position. But then
because I think that if you don't know the position, it helps a bit more easier to see the people, the person itself, and it's more easy to be curious about the person, and I think it makes much easier to do the networking.
Exactly,
and the connection.
And also, on each presentation, so of course some challenges or problems are stated, and I also like the conference because sometimes if you're not talking with your peers in other companies and you have all your challenges at the company, you're just thinking, oh my God, so it's so difficult, right? Not everything is going smoothly, but then you talk with your peers and then you realize we are doing great, or even better than others, and then you kind of...
Yes, I think that in this situation, it's the most important to feel that you are not alone with the problem or with the difficulties, and there are many other people who are having the same or very similar challenges, and sometimes it's just nice to feel that, okay, I'm not alone, and maybe to change some thoughts then can help you
so some
to go on easier.
Happens, and then it will create some solution probably.
Absolutely. And what do you think about learning and development and lifelong learning in the credit industry? What do you think it is important, and what are the most important topics, and what do you think what is the most important or the most effective way to teach something to somebody who is fresh in credit? Or also for the seniors.
It's a quite complex question. I'm really fan of continuous learning. So, for example, as for me, then if I have a chance, I always, grab opportunity to present, to develop my skills. So, for example, not because I'm a great presenter, but just, if you're doing it and learning from others, so you're improving. So
learning by doing.
Exactly. Then conference again, so you're broadening your knowledge about the topic, about the issues. So attending all these events, and also this time I could bring 5 people from my company, and their first time in such an event, and for them I see already that it's a great learning, because if they're doing their task greatly, but they don't see broader picture, so what is outside. So I think for my colleagues it's also a great learning opportunity. And of course now AI is again, every topic, everywhere you need to read. But I think even if it's not yet real in action, so we need to keep up and get to know what is already working and how we can adapt it. So, and it also takes time. Sometimes we are super busy with all our tasks, but I'm personally always trying to find, at least on Fridays, for example, a little time to read an article, do a LinkedIn learning, so just to upskill myself. Just back also to people who are starting in credit. So of course they need to learn on duty thing, like what to click, what is the process, to understand credit policy, SOPs. But when they are already there, so it's very important for them to understand end-to-end process.
Yes.
So I would really maybe even start with that, or very fast to continue with that once they already up to speed with their daily task, what they need to do, because otherwise if they focus on very kind of narrow piece, so they will not advance in their job and their performance will not be at certain level.
Yeah, so the helicopter view helps every time to advance also in the career and maybe to have a broader picture to understand also the daily job.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you think is it better to have an approach of self-learning, self-development, or is it better to have a more organized way of teaching people?
Yeah, I think it's great if people are eager to learn and you don't need to push and organize anything, so just they are looking for opportunities. And I would say it's a rather smaller percentage of such people at work, at least. So larger group, you need still to make a push for them.
Yes.
So, and another group again, so you make a push and they accept it and they appreciate it, but then the most difficult group of people, they don't see the value actually of that, because they say, leave me alone, so I know my job, and so I think, for that group, it's very important if you push them to learn, so these learnings, really, you need to sell it like in a way why they need it, and the quality of the learning should be really applicable to their daily job. So.
And maybe it's better if this learning can help maybe in their career, if they are interested in developing also professionally.
Exactly, themselves. But you need to kind of build a bit a story around that. So not only, send them for the trainings, and I have this experience, sending to lean training and say, oh my God, 4 hours, in the classroom, I would, release 50 orders instead of that. But if I think you put it in a package and explain why, and as a manager that it's a great quality training, right? That then they will realize that it was not a waste of time, but it's for their career advance, as you said.
Okay. And do you have any advice for people in credit about learning or career management who would like to enter into this career or who are already in since some years?
Yeah, actually, I think the difficulty for a credit professional is that there is a lack of resources on that topic. So, for example, our company providing, for example, LinkedIn Learning. Before we had other provider, and we tried to build actually some training package using these resources for our credit professionals, but it's hard. You can find some pieces, but it's more soft skills improvement, maybe some project management, maybe Excel, which is also good for the job, but there is no kind of really domain thing. Yes, and that's why, for example, this kind of conferences, so I know Callisto Grants, they also have materials or training programs, so there are a few providers, I will not say the name, but on the market there are a few ones with a different cost model, so they can provide really credit training. And some of my colleagues who had a chance to attend those trainings, so they really appreciated that and they valued that. So it's more really not how to do their job, but explaining, so what is, working capital, how to calculate, DSO, what is the impact, cost of delays of payments, all this things.
Yes, because in this way they can understand why it is important what they are doing in the daily job. And one last question. What are the most important topics and skills that somebody needs to have working in credit?
Yeah, proactivity, I believe it's really a key because, yeah, as I said, market is changing, company is also changing, so they need really to keep up with changes and proactively review the accounts, or if some, again, risk category, credit limits should be removed, so they need to do. And like on positive side, again, if sales are increasing, and they don't, again, take an actions, and it's unnecessarily, for example, orders falling on block. But if you're talking about collections and not credit, again, so it's proactively collecting and understanding so why it's critical, because as I said, so only this training package is normally explaining so why it's critical, even to avoid 5 days of delay, because if they don't know, they say, I don't care, it's only 5 days, but how much it costs to the company, and if you on time pick up the phone, so then and also assertiveness, I think it's also very critical in both credit and collections, because if you're talking about collections, really don't send fifth email, just pick up the phone, call, or make sure if you're even writing to a correct person, so what is the right way to communicate.
And to understand that what is the real issue and what is the real problem, because sometimes it's not even evident, that part.
And stakeholder management. I think I didn't mention it, but in credit, it's super critical, because we are kind of surrounded by many functions, and we are bringing the cash, but there is a lot of dependencies, so or issues are there, and we need to coordinate to solve, or outcome of our job, again, affecting some others. So we need really to define who are our stakeholders and keep in touch, maintain communication with them.
Okay, thank you very much, Irina. Would you like to add something to the interview? Would you like to say something else?
No, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Nicolette.
Okay, thank you.